OK, welcome along to Paper Talk. Coming up, we're going to look through the back pages of all this morning's papers to see what's making the headlines. And our guests this morning are broadcaster and United Stand presenter Adam Stott and from The Guardian, Jonathan Liew. Good morning to you both.
Hey. Morning.
Now, as you would imagine, all of today's papers are covering the England World Cup squad, and the Daily Express are actually reporting that some members of the squad have already been leaked. So, Jonathan, according to the Express this morning, who's made Southgate's England squad and who are maybe the surprises in this reported squad?
Yeah, so, I mean, a lot of the papers this morning reporting that Ben White of Arsenal is going to be in there as, I guess, emergency right-back cover for Reece James, who's not made it, and Marcus Rashford at United is back in after missing out earlier this season, but he's back in according to lots of reports based on, I guess, his form under Ten Hag this season, his resurgence, and also the fact that he's appeared in the previous two tournament squads. No Sancho, no Bowen. No Reece James, obviously due to injury, and also looks like Loftus-Cheek and Conor Gallagher are going to miss out at Chelsea.
Also on that one, I think the biggest one out of all of these stories there is going to be the James Maddison one. I think the form of his life at the moment, and I think him missing out is going to get more tongues wagging than any other story, I think, in terms of this England squad announcement. I think 10 goal involvements all season already, and then people are going to be saying, well, Calvin Phillips, who's played 53 minutes, who might sneak into the squad, and you've got James Maddison, the form of his career right now, I would say. I think that's probably the biggest talking point out of everything in the whole England squad announcement, which is coming today.
Yeah, Jonathan, would you be surprised to see Maddison miss out? As Adam says, he's been in great form, 6 goals, 4 assists in 12 games in the Premier League. He's a really creative option in midfield. How disappointing would it be and how surprising would it be if he doesn't make the squad?
Not very, to be honest. I mean, it's been quite clear for years now that he is not one of Southgate's top guys. That Southgate doesn't seem to rate him as much as a lot of us do. And there is a tactical element to this as well. The role that he plays, the number 10, it doesn't really have an equivalent in this England team. He doesn't really fit into the front three. So I'm not surprised. I get slightly disappointed. I think you want your most talented players in. There's kind of a Cantona and France element here, where you have a player who's clearly so richly talented, but for whatever reason just doesn't his face doesn't seem to fit.
Yeah, it's safe to say social media will have plenty to say if that does prove to be the case later on today. Let's move on to The Sun, and they've actually got an interview with the former England defender Rio Ferdinand, and the headline is "Harry on regardless." And Rio speaks to sort of Gareth Southgate's faith in the, as he says, out-of-form Harry Maguire is like blind trust. I mean, what's the story behind this, Adam? Because Ferdinand has quite a lot to say on the matter.
Yeah, I think with Ferdinand, he's referencing injured players going into the World Cup. Harry Maguire has missed a lot of games. I think he's made 4 starts all season. That's through injury and form, obviously, together. But he talked about his time that with players going into World Cups injured, it's never really worked out for England. And he thinks if there was a bit better competition around for Harry Maguire in that position, he probably wouldn't end up going. The reference of his Jonathan Woodgate, Jamie Carragher when he was playing for England, how he kept them sort of quality players out. He just doesn't feel like there's enough quality in that area, and he just thinks I think that's where he's going with blind trust in terms of how Harry Maguire has helped Southgate over the last 2 years. Obviously, he'd play with a tournament. He keeps referencing that every time he talks about it. But I think Ferdinand is looking at it as like, do you really want 2 players going into the World Cup? Because he also talks about Kyle Walker coming back into the team, and both of them would be expected to start for England. And would that hamper England in the World Cup? I think that's where he's mainly getting at from his story.